So this is a Chinese movie that hit festivals initially way back in 2018, but I think it only got a worldwide international digital release earlier this year. And well, I don't even know how I stumbled upon it, but it looked interesting, so I watched it. I also don't know what I expected from it, but what I got was something different. In a good way, because I liked this movie way more than I liked Birds of Prey. Now, why do I even bring that up? Because this was written and directed by Cathy Yan, who I guess got the job to direct Birds of Prey after the right people saw this movie, which is hilarious considering this ended up getting a wide release over a year later. Anyway, what's this movie even about? Well, it's actually a surprisingly difficult movie to summarize without getting into details. But at first we're introduced to a number of seemingly unrelated characters. We have a pig farmer, a beauty salon owner, an American architect, a waiter, and a rich girl. Now, of course, they all end up being connected with each other in one way or another, and they all eventually tie together in the same story, but it takes a while for the dots to start to connect. But let's just say that the situation that ties them together is rather complicated. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces. There's also a lot of tension in the air. All of them are going through their own issues, their own struggles, and things they individually have to try to figure out and deal with. And I myself was trying to figure out what the central theme of this movie actually is. And I'm not sure, but I guess it has a lot to do with change, accepting change, coming to terms with change. But it all basically stems from the modern world that just keeps moving forward, clashing with a more traditional way of living. There are also themes of class differences between the haves and have-nots, the increasing gap between the two, and how the wealthy can just seemingly do whatever they want. Just basically bulldozing the poor people, quite literally. And all those things just make this a surprisingly layered and nuanced movie. Now there is also a surprising amount of humor in this, despite it being a fairly serious movie. Or well, the topics it deals with are serious, but the tone is often more comedic than anything else. But somehow it still worked really well, and I really didn't have any issues with how it dealt with that. Because it didn't feel like the humor lessened the impact of or undermined the drama here. The drama still definitely worked, and I did get heavily invested in the story of the characters. So yeah, very good writing and filmmaking in general too. I don't really have too many complaints. Now, when it comes to the title itself, it relates directly to the larger story here. There are a lot of dead pigs for reasons I'm not gonna get into, but it has a major impact on the story. And I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that that part must have also been a metaphor for something. It just felt like a clear metaphor and like it meant something a lot more than it let on. And maybe I'm a bit slow, but I couldn't really figure out what that really meant. Maybe it was just a story element and it didn't have a deeper meaning. I don't know, but I'd be surprised if that was actually the case, because I just got some strong metaphor vibes from it. Anyway, moving on. The way the movie wrapped up there was a, let's say, rather unusual scene near the end as well. That kinda caught me off guard and could have come across as silly or even ridiculous. But I actually liked it and thought it worked, as offbeat and strange as it was. And in general too, this is a little bit of an offbeat movie, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And at the end of the day, I think I wanna give this one a low 8. Boop. But would I recommend it? Yeah, I think it's probably worth checking out. Now it does have some Chinese quirks to it, but if you don't mind that, I think you'll like it. So you know, maybe give it a shot, or perhaps don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic.